Hi you guys, it's Wendy coming to you with a project share. I'm getting ready to send this out to my partner today, and so I wanted to just do a quick flip through before I get it sent out. And so I participated in essentially a junk journal swap in which you could either do Halloween or you could do the colors of that particular season. So orange, black, purple, silver. I can't remember what the others were. Of course I went with just orange and black. And the dimensions on this, I have gone over. I'm prone to signing up for things and then kind of doing what I want, which isn't the best, but it's just how I am. It's part of my personality. And so I think the dimensions were supposed to be 6 by 6, and this is more like 6 by 9. So, So I chose a hardback book that I had stripped a long time ago and just had the cover. And the cover was navy blue, I believe. And I went ahead and took this tissue paper and crumpled it up, of course, as I've shown you before, and made this cover. I really like the effect, and I like the effect of a dark color underneath. So I was happy with how that turned out. This is my normal spine treatment with all of the different ribbons and hem tapes and such. Because I didn't do my normal strategy where I just take a book and I kind of cut out every 2 pages or so and kind of slip the new pages into where I cut those pages out of the journal. This time it was literally just the book cover, and so I did have to do signatures, and it's been a long time since I've done that. So I did encounter difficulties. You can see that on the outside I've used hemp thread, and I went ahead and took my crocodile and I put in these eyelets and strung the 2 signatures through that. On the outside it looks okay. What I didn't really anticipate is the size of the cover as opposed to my signatures. I planned for my signatures to essentially mostly be taking what amounts to an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and folding it in half. So what you end up with then is 4.25 by 5.5. Did I do that right? I think so. No? 5.5 by 8.5, I guess is what I mean. And so when I did that and basically got everything all taken care of and attached this, I realized that there was too much space between where the signature sat and the top of the book. And this was unfortunate because I could not change that. I had already punched my holes, I had already strung things through, and the ribbon, the way that I had done the ribbon, impeded me from changing that, or else I could have changed it last minute. So what I did is I did my tabs up at the top, and that helped me actually get up to the top of that book cover. And so I don't think anybody would be able to tell that I messed up. I think that the tabs kind of saved me and gave me the correct height that I would need for my signatures. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through. This is not perfect by any means, and I learned a lot. It's been too long since I've done one of these, and so one of the troubles I encountered, for instance, is that even though the covers are hard, the spine was soft, and I really should have reinforced the spine with maybe a little piece of cardboard between my eyelets. It's a little bit saggy, and I don't think that will be problematic as far as using the journal, but I do think, you know, for next time I do it, I would want to go ahead and correct that. So on the inside covers, I have this kind of fibery material here. This came from an upholstery book that uses natural like threads and fibers and things. So that's on both sides. I have a jelly print. have this woman who, obviously this isn't a conventional witch, but she was wearing orange. She had an owl. I made her a witch. We have an envelope, a Dollar Tree message pad, some natural images. I made use of a lot of photo books, photography books, and I find that when they're talking about problems with photography or technique for photography, that makes for some spooky images. Like if you have top light in your photo, that's kind of what this was about, and so it kind of fit my theme. Have lots of leaves. I cut out this image from an Aesop's fable. Have this cute little vintage image of these trick-or-treaters. Somebody sent me this little list pad, a couple pages from it in a Happy Mail, and it says, "Hey, sweetie," and then it's got a piece of pie at the bottom. You have this little cutie in her winter fall wear. This is in a book about knitting, so there's a pattern for knitting this scarf and hat. I got this as Happy Mail. Somebody sent me this as a card. Lots of natural images. Have a few sugar skulls. Just lots of places for writing. Took this from an art book. Have a picture of a cat who's not quite black, but I figured he looked kind of spooky. I took some bug images. They have this guy. I had a book in my collection about how to grow a vegetable garden, and this is the author of that book. I think that's the most adorable, nerdy picture of this guy ever, so I thought that was cute. Yeah, so just lots of different things. This came in Happy Mail to me. Took lots of images from the photography book and just tried to look for kind of spooky, spooky people who fit my theme. This was a book on how to do stained glass, again from that photo book. I have this cute little squirrel image. These eyelashes, I thought that was pretty cool. Just little bits and pieces of scrapbooky papers that have come to me in Happy Mail or that I still have left over from scrapbooking days. Here's another one from the photography book. Kind of reminds me of that image from Poltergeist. And again, it's backlighting instead of top lighting. This is a Citrusolve and National Geographic. As I've mentioned before, it's one of my favorite techniques, and I don't know if you can see that, but it just creates the coolest imagery, the coolest patterns. And essentially, the ink that they use in National Geographics is special ink, and that Citrusolve works with that ink and just does these crazy patterns based on it. So who knows what this image was, but you're left with this pattern. I just love it. Here's a jelly print with leaves. I used a couple of, I tend to think that body parts sometimes can be spooky as well. And so I included eyes and hands and such. We have this Alfred Stieglitz photo. Again, from an anatomy book, you know, when the skin is peeled off and you're looking at bones or muscles. It's kind of spooky. This was an interesting image that came from one of the art books, and obviously it's the kind of the image of a woman, but I think that it's kind of spooky. And so I included that. Picture of a haunted house. I've created little tuck spots everywhere. I haven't been mentioning those. This is a pocket. There's nothing currently in it, but I did make it out of a piece of a full upholstery sample. Yeah, book from trees, and this was from flowers, animals, and birds, I think. Created a pocket. This is another of those Citrusolve National Geographic prints. Added this, which is a photo negative, and I think those are also kind of spooky. This is a pocket, so I put a journaling page in here. Know Your Leaves from a children's book. This was from an image of a bird nesting in a bunch of leaves. The bird was hard to see, and that was the whole point of the photo, but just for the purposes of what I wanted to do, I just cut the bird out, but that's his little body there. This came to me in Happy Mail from Rhonda Emery, and she'd obviously painted on magazine images with, I don't know, gesso or something, and I think it's kind of spooky in that it kind of melts people's faces, you know, obscures those, and then there's a few, it has this kind of vibe with it being a dinner party. If you guys have seen The Shining, I kind of was going for that. And then right next to that I have this little sweet image of this little girl, kind of weird. Here we have books and a kerosene lamp, just kind of struck me as kind of fall imagery. Anatomy book. This was from Happy Mail that somebody sent me. It says Lucky Moon. We have the skeleton of a gecko or a lizard. With this that came from a children's science book. So I thought that was kind of neat. This was in my scrapbook paper stash from way back in the day, and you were to check off which holiday it is, so I thought that would kind of worked. Another sugar skull, and of course from an anatomy book. This tab is from a pizza box. It's the portion of the side of the pizza box that tells you, or tells them, I guess, what time it was made. We have this bird I included because he was orange. These seeds. This image from a photography book, which is talking about overexposing things. So obviously that's a problem for photography in that his head is missing. And so for my purposes, I think it works. These are kind of plain, these pages. I got tired of looking up images. Here's another negative. These two little kind of little hippie couple, and because it's the photo negative, they look kind of creepy. Here's a jelly print, and here's this image, which again is a means of manipulating a body with photography, but I thought it was kind of a cool spooky image, and I included this as journaling on the inside. So yeah, I think it serves its purpose. Like I mentioned, my only mishap, I think, was kind of mismeasuring, and I think I fixed that with the tabs. And then what I would do differently next time, I guess, is just make sure I've reinforced the spine. You can tell it's a little precarious if you happen to balance it like this, but I don't think most people who have a book like this are going to do this. I think mainly they're going to lie it flat if they're going to write in it, or they're going to stick it in a bookshelf, in which case it would have support. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I'm sure I'll be coming back in the next day or two. I've got lots of swaps that I need to get out, lots of things that I obligated myself to, and so I need to make good on those. And yeah, hopefully you guys are having a good day. The sun is shining here. Work is crazy. I'm incredibly stressed out and anxiety filled about it. But this is helping me. I have been up, and this is my third day working on this journal, and been up working on this since probably about 4 o'clock this morning. So I'm happy to be finished with it. I hope my partner likes it, and thanks for letting me share it with you. Have a great day, you guys. Bye-bye.